All right. Yesterday, I plugged it up, did some welds with it, and I was doing something wrong, didn't even realize it. I thought I had my 308 rods. Ended up not being the 308 rods. It ended up being 6010, and I'm not a welder. So my buddy who taught me how to weld, he's a welder by trade, doing pipes for fuel lines, gas lines, whatever else they do. And I'm welding it, thinking I'm using the 308. And he said, "What are you welding?" I said, "Well, I'm welding this thing here, seeing how it works, but it's not doing the 308 right." He said, "That's not 308. So I said, "Okay, it's not 308, but that's the pack I got it from." He said, "No, the sound of it tells me it's not 308. And he was right. So this one here's the ground. It says ground, the little symbol there. And this one is your lead. So put it in. On the 308, I wrote down, which is a good idea, write down what you did it, what it felt comfortable at, because on different machines it's different. The miller would not go this high for the same thing. That's the on, and then you have for stick or TIG. This I'm not sure what it is for, but I'll read the book one day. The lead, it's about 10 feet long, and the ground is about maybe 5 foot. But this is what I was doing here. This is the 7018. 7018. That's a 308. I was just going over and over the same thing. But I'll try to do some passes on this right here. So let me pause and go. All right. The 308, I have this written on it. And the amperage with this machine, the hitbox, is about 110 amps. And the 308, I think, is 330 seconds. And with the 7018s, which is 330 seconds, I get good results at 120. But it is saying that you should be doing it at about 55 to 85. Not with this machine. It just bubbles up. It looks like a slug, and it really doesn't stick that deep. So that's what I do to until I get used to a machine. Then I know about what it is, and the way I get that, I'll be burning and turning the knob at the same time till when I stop. Sometimes you'll just have the flux just roll up or start cracking off in a certain area, and then I estimate where I should have been in that area. But I'll go ahead and start doing a little weld and see what it does. This one is the 308, so I'll dial it back down to about 110, to about right there, and then start something up. This is the shield I use. Like I said, I'm not a professional welder, and that's the brand and everything. I've had it now for about 4 or 5 years, and it was from Northern Tools, right about $60. I used to have the one from Harbor Freight, and it was not as good, didn't last as long too. So I'll go ahead and set this thing. I usually set this right here at about 10. It depends, how good your eyes are, and that'll determine what it is. So this one, the only thing I didn't like with it, it has that on off. And if you forget to turn it off, you just running the battery. So I'll go ahead now and start on this. All right, let's see what she does. Okay, that should hold it. Let me get this. Okay. That's using the 308. Didn't stick on the back, but I got over here real good, and I can hear that crackling. Tells me it's good. All right, I'll go ahead and see if I can put down a bead. Okay. That's what it looked like. You can hear the crackling. I'll come back when it's knocked off. All right, that's what the 308 looks like. And it's a stainless steel rod. So this thing here is not gonna get rust or gets damaged like the 7018s or the 6010. So that's why I like using the 308. But I'm gonna run a bead with the 7018 and show you what it looks like too. Okay, I bumped it up to 120 like I wrote down. This is the 7018. I'll go ahead and see. Okay. That's with the 7018. Let it cool down. Sometimes if the flux comes up without you even touching it or cracks, that is perfect speed, perfect temperature. I sometimes get it. It's rare, but I always get a good weld with the 7018. My kryptonite is the 6010. I hate 6010, but I'll run a bead with 6010 also. This was the 330 seconds 7018s, and I'll come back when I knock this slag off. All right, that's what it looks like right there. This is the stainless, the 308, and that's the 7018s. Both of them are flowing metals. They flow a lot. The 6010 does not flow as much as them, but I'll go ahead and put a bead in the center and tie them up. Now you have to remember, I did not clean this metal here because it's just tested. So, but it does good on even dirty stuff. The stainless steel doesn't really like the dirty stuff, but once you get started, like right there, it was kind of rough. Once it gets started, then it starts to put down a nice bead, because I guess it just gets so hot it burns the paint and the rust up. But this one here, the 7018s, I've done it on dirty stuff and it works. Now the 6010, I think, doesn't really care. I'll try it here. All right, I'm gonna leave it on 120. I don't use 6010 too often. Like I said, it's my kryptonite. It burns real fast, and I can't usually keep up with it. So I'll see what it does. That's it there. Looks more like a mess. A lot of people say, oh, that looks good for 6010. I'm accustomed to my welds flowing, and that thing just, it's ugly. But they all penetrate real good. That's the stainless 6010, and then the 7018 doesn't really penetrate deep, but it flows real nice. But that's what I got. Now I do have 1/8 of an inch 7018s, and that little machine does it, but you would have to crank it up to about right at 200. I'll go ahead and do a small bead with it. Just maybe get the other side. I'll do this side here with it so you can see what it looks like. Okay, I got it at about 190. And let's see what she does. Still too cold. But I don't want to change it from this. All right, that's running at about 190. I could have probably put it up a little more to start easier, but I don't have it on a dedicated circuit, and if I put it on the 200, it runs for about maybe 10 seconds, 5 seconds, and it trips the breaker, because I have my refrigerator running on that same circuit. The TV's off right now, and then my Google Assistant is hooked up there too. So, but that's using at 190, which still looks pretty good. So it looks like, see, it's not flowing real good on that corner there. It did okay up on this side here, but on that corner, which isn't bad. I've seen way worse, and some guys have said, well, just use a grinder on it. But that's what it looks like. 7018, 1/8 of an inch rod at 190 on the hitbox. But that's all I got right now. But thanks for watching, and the machine, I have to give it a thumbs up. It runs real nice. Bye.